I see Teddy.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and Sportsmemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to Wager Talk Today. I'm back. Teddy's back. Steve Merril is joining us. Ronald, Cabang as well. And, of course, Dave Sharapan at the end of the show. It's going to be a lot of baseball, a little bit of WNBA, hopefully some laughs along the way. You guys, remember, are watching the #1 daily sports betting show on the planet. Teddy, I don't even know where to begin, dude. You look good. I love the jacket. You're not sitting on the back like I taught you so that the pieces don't come out. You remember? You sit on the back of the jacket. It brings it down a bit here. Anyway, it's good to start with you, my friend. I missed you.
Yeah. So, no, I'm not sitting on the back of my jacket, which I probably should have done. Nonetheless, we had to get a little bit, it was time for a wardrobe upgrade. So we got some new jackets and new shirts. I did not get a backdrop upgrade. I didn't want to use a green screen. I couldn't find anything I liked. So we're going to go another year with a backdrop. But of course, this is the first episode of season 3 of Wager Talk Today. This is year 3 we've been doing this, Prez. So we have to talk about some of the goals for year 3. And it's like, look, when we fight, we got to fight friendly. We got to fight with a smile. That's what we do most of the time. It can't be all cross-examination for the guests when they come on. This isn't defend your life. I got to be more forthcoming when I agree with guests and a little more explanation of what side in total I'm leaning and why I did or didn't play the games the guests are talking about. But the #1 thing, man, we got to keep building an audience. Give strong, relevant info every day. And of course, thank everyone for tuning in. It's going to be a great season 3 of Wager Talk today. Did you see what happened in baseball last night, Prez? Something happened that was fairly unique. That's worth noting as well.
The answer is no, because I'm deep into the terminal list. And I did watch Bill Burr's new comedy special. I lost my game, so I know what happened in the Red Sox game. But before we get into that, Teddy, I don't know, man. Like, I kind of like Angry Teddy from time to time. Promise that that Angry Teddy will show up from like a little bit. Like, I do appreciate that you're going to slow Angry Teddy down, but man, I don't know what I'm going to do without Angry Teddy if he's not around at least once every couple of weeks.
Don't you worry, Prez. I'm sure you'll flick my ear enough that you'll piss me off and I'll get annoyed sooner or later. It's coming. But we're trying to get annoyed with a smile. Because I was watching some old, like the shows that we're going back and forth and we're smiling are better than the shows we're going back and forth and we're just, the both of us have glares on our faces. So, yeah, let's see if we can smile. But to get back to what I was talking about in baseball last night, something that happened that was so unique.
There
were 5 dogs on the card last night of plus 150 or higher. 5 dogs in the card that were big dogs. Phillies against the Braves, the Rockies against the Brewers, the National against the Dodgers, the A's against the Astros, the Tigers against the Padres. All 5 of those plus 150 dogs won. All of them won by more than one run. If you were playing reverse run lines last night on these dogs, you made a freaking fortune. That's unique. When you have 5 dogs of plus 150 on the card and they all win by more than one run, doesn't happen every day. I don't know if that happens every season.
Yeah, well, I mean, I definitely do not have the stats on days where 5 or more plus 150 dogs win. I'm sure Ralph does, but Ralph is doing an amazing thing this summer. Dude is literally cruising around America. I'm so happy for him.
You don't want to be in Vegas in the summer. If you can avoid Las Vegas in the summertime, if you can get out of town, if you can find something to do or somewhere to stay, it's really hot here every day and never breaks.
Guys, I want to apologize for yesterday. We did have technical difficulties. It happened. You know what? I honestly think it was the first time it ever happened where we had to cancel a show due to technical difficulties. It might not be. It might be 2 or 3 times, but as Teddy said, we're starting year 3 and it barely does happen. I want to welcome everybody in. Aaron, Simone, Javier, Eduardo, Chad, we love seeing you. Raven, Jessica is back, Teddy. Jessica disappeared for months. I thought Jessica was gone for good. She's back. Andrew, XCal, love having you guys all with us. Season 3 is beginning. And a quick statement. If you guys have any ideas or any suggestions on how we can make this show better, if you want to be snotty and say, yes, Prez, Steve instead of Teddy, go ahead, fine. But put up the comments and the thoughts on after we put the video up on YouTube. I will read them all. Teddy and I would love some ideas. We want to make this show bigger and better, and we do it for you guys. Steve Merril joining us. And Steve, before we get into anything else, who told you the Blue Jays were a bet-on team about a week and a half ago?
Did you say that?
Yeah, and then I didn't release them once. So,
got you.
Typical idiot over here. This guy. Welcome to the show, man. How have you been?
Doing well, and I wanted to jump on something Teddy said about yesterday being so unique. Teddy, I don't think it was a fluke that it was a Monday, right? I mean, that's something you didn't kind of mention there. I mean, this is, it's so weird with these Sunday getaway games, all the daytime games. We see the letdown, Marco D'Angelo letdown Monday pick of the week is always playing against the Sunday night team in some angle here on the show. So yeah, it jumped out to me. And of course, I think that we're the Dodgers, maybe the second biggest favorite this season. We saw your Blue Jays, Prez, that red-hot play-on team loses a $4 favorite to the Royals a few weeks ago, and then the Dodgers loses a $3 favorite last night, but they're coming off that big series against the Giants. So we'll see how it plays out tonight on Tuesday. I would think things maybe get back to normal.
Steve, before we start promoting, let's just get into one game right off the bat. The Guardians and the Red Sox. I was on the over last night. Look, I'm having an incredible baseball season, but man, I can't win every game, and that one was just terrible. One of those frustrating games where it was like a runner on first with no out in almost every inning, and just nobody could get these guys home. What's going to happen today? How do we bet this game?
Prez, I was with you last night. I also on the over. I was on a 10-2 run. We missed that play, and now on a 10-3 run on sides, totals, money lines the last 2 weeks. So I was with you. Been red hot in baseball. It just not get it done. But the 3-1 loss was a little misleading as Cleveland actually out-hit the Red Sox. Cleveland had 8 hits. They'd had 11 hits or more in 4 of their prior 5 games. So that's one of the reasons I like the over last night, as the offense had been red hot. And definitely wouldn't talk you off a Indians team total over tonight, maybe. The game is now at 10 to the over. We had no overnight line on this because the Indians were a little questionable at their start. They're going to go with Shaw. He's been all bullpen this year. It'll be his first start. He has not had good numbers. So I think the over could be worth a look again tonight. A little bit pricey, so it didn't make my card this evening. It was 9 plus money last night. Now it's 10 over minus money. So they've obviously priced it higher with the questionable starters, but I would not talk you off and over this evening.
So, I mean, the Red Sox.
Wait. You were almost old Teddy there. Then you caught yourself, smiled, and remembered to come back to new Teddy. Am I wrong?
You're completely wrong. I was thinking about what question I was going to answer. Steve ended about 10 or 15 seconds before I thought he was going to end. So I had to transition a little quicker than I was expecting.
Sure, he's awake.
That's all. Yeah, I'm awake. So the Red Sox have played pretty miserable baseball, obviously, well-publicized miserable baseball. And they found a way to get a win last night in a game where, the offense still didn't get going. The lineup still didn't get going. They scored, 8 runs the last 3 games. And the only reason they've been going and trending over is because the pitching has been so bad. And the Guardians aren't hitting either now. They've lost 3 in a row. They've kind of cooled off since that nice, they won going into the All-Star break. They won the first 2 games coming out, but they, too, just 8 runs scored in the last 3 ball games. And we're seeing a total here. I know it's a bullpen game for Cleveland, but we're seeing a total of 10 tonight, which means you got to get to 11 to win. Do we trust these two? I'm not going to say slumping, but we can say cold lineups to get up and over this total tonight.
Yeah, Teddy, I ended a little early because I thought maybe we'd follow up with the side. Cleveland's the only way I would play the side here. And, you mentioned, though, that, they're cold. I'm not so sure they are cold, though. They had 13 hits in that final game before the All-Star break, came out with 27 hits against the White Sox their first 2 games after the break, 19 hit the 2 games after that. They only had 8 last night. But if you look at the hits, they should have had more runs scored. So I think the offense is actually putting the ball in play maybe better than the 3-game losing streak would indicate. As you said, Boston really didn't play well again last night, just 6 hits for 3 runs. So that's the reason I'm not bigger on the over here, is I'm very concerned about that Red Sox offense. And for that reason, I would hedge a little bit with the Indians, the Guardians, plus 130, plus money team in better current form still, despite losing 3 straight. Because as you said, the Red Sox have been awful. What was it, like 9 out of 10 losses until last night?
Steve Merril joining us, everybody. Exclusive handicapper at WagerTalk.com. And Steve is the $2 Tuesday handicapper. For anybody listening to the show for the first time, every Tuesday over at WagerTalk.com, we pick one of the hottest handicappers. And I think one of the girls thought Steve was super hot. So he was chosen.
Smart
and he
girl.
has his first ever 5% MLB side play, or first of the season. Steve, tell us what's going on.
It's the first ever. I've been at Wager Talk for over 2 years. I've never had a 5% MLB side. To put this in perspective, I've released over 1,460 games in all sports the last 2 years, and never a 5%. Over 400 baseball games, never a 5% side. Not just this year, ever. And as you said, not only do you have to be hot sometimes to be the $2, but the stars have to align. I told them, look, there's a strong 5% Tuesday. It's the first side I've ever released. Let's do something special. Normally, it would be $35. Not today, because it's $2 Tuesday. $2 gets this strong play. Bonus code inside as well. It's not about getting a $2 play. It's about getting people on board, trying my red hot baseball. Even with that miss last night, as I said, still 10-3, 77% the last couple weeks. Longer term, the last 7 weeks, 40-23 MLB side total money line run. We keep it going tonight with a super strong 5% side, first ever, and it's just $2. Steve Merril WagerTalk.com. Prez, get there quicker with shortcut code WT.buzz/SM.
There you go. Steve, Nationals playing the Dodgers. What's going to happen in this one?
So I could have been cute and used the Dodgers minus 240 as my 5% side, but I don't think that would be a smart thing to do. And as I mentioned last night, they were minus 300. They lost outright, only put up 1 run to the worst team in baseball, my Washington Nationals. But it was a terrible spot for the Dodgers. And as Teddy talked about, there was a lot of weird things that happened last night on Monday with 5 good-sized favorites all losing by 2 runs or more. Dodgers were one of them, obviously. They were coming off the big weekend series against the Giants. And look, I know we have a lot of new viewers. Check out $2 Tuesday, as Prez said, but I know we have a lot of loyal, longtime viewers as well. And anyone who's watched the show the last couple of years know where I'm going with this game. You either play the underdog outright on the money line, like last night, get a nice $2 to 1 return, or you play the Dodgers to win by margin minus 1.5. Look, I wouldn't talk you off doing either tonight. The Dodgers have shown a tendency to let down against bad teams for more than just one game. So wouldn't be shocked if the Nationals won this out again as a 2-1 favorite. But I think the better play is Dodgers run line minus 1.5. Get that price very reasonable down to, last I checked, I believe, around $1.30, $1.40 range, actually $1.20. So you're taking what is a $2.50 favorite down to minus 120 on the minus 1.5 run line. And the Dodgers basically always, when they win by 2 runs or more. It's been like that for several seasons now. I think it'll be a focus spot after that terrible outing last night. And even in the 4-1 loss, both teams had 8 hits. Dodgers had 12 hits on Sunday against the Giants. So it's not like they're slumping, and this team had won 8 straight until last night. Nationals are really bad. Don't let the back-to-back wins fool you. They have hit the ball a little bit better the last 2 days on Sunday and Monday. Come from behind win at Arizona. But this is obviously a team I follow very closely. The worst run differential in baseball, the worst record in baseball. I have no problem playing what I think is probably still the best team in baseball, Dodgers, off a bad showing. And the way to play, it's the minus 1.5, minus 120 run line.
So when you look at the total in this game, it's holding at 8.5. 8.5 with heavy juice to the over. Now, the Nats aren't a team that's going to tear the cover off the baseball basically ever. You know, in their 4 games since the All-Star break, they've scored 11 runs. I don't think the Dodgers are hitting great right now either. You know, even during their 8-game winning streak, that was as much about pitching as it was about the lineup clicking on all cylinders. Any thoughts on this total, Steve? Sitting again, you can get a plus money on the under right now at the 8.5. If you shop around, you can also find 9s if you're looking at the under. Or is this a game you would expect to be a little bit more high scoring?
Yeah, it's interesting to me. It actually opened 9 in some spots, and like you said, there are still some 9s to the under available. And obviously, 9 is a very key number. So is 7. All odd numbers are key in baseball because a game can't end 4-4, right? If it's a 4-4 game, it's guaranteed to have 9 runs once it goes to extra innings. So at 8.5 or less, I'm always looking for a reason to kind of lean towards the overs, and I'd have no problem with the over in this game. Nationals have not been a good offensive team this year, as you said, but as I mentioned, their offense has come alive a bit the last 2 games, and that's why they have won back-to-back games. And to be honest, 4 runs in each game is actually good for the Nationals, and they have 17 hits in those games. I mean, once again, the Dodgers, the 1 run last night, a little misleading, is they had 8 hits, 9 men left on base. This is a team that had put up 16 runs in the 3 prior games. Actually, they put up 25 runs in the 4 prior games against the Giants coming out of the All-Star break. So I still think the Dodgers are hitting the ball fine. I actually like the over 8.5 here as far as the total goes. I think the Dodgers get back on track, and I think the Nationals can maybe keep up tonight if this offensive surge the last 2 days is for real.
There you go, Steve Merril, everyone. Outstanding work, brother. I will see you next week on the show. What do you got going hosting and guesting wise?
Yeah, more baseball talk at 1:45 Eastern today on Tuesday. I'll be on MLB First Pitch. We'll be breaking down 3 additional games, so check out more free baseball info, MLB First Pitch, 1:45 Eastern. I'll be on that again Thursday and also guest hosting it Friday. So the baseball show is a great resource this time of year on WagerTalk TV. And don't forget, every show is archived 24/7 if you miss it. And quickly, once again, first 5% MLB site I've ever released goes tonight, and it's just $2. Steve Merril, $2 Tuesday, WagerTalk.com.
Awesome stuff. And remember, everyone, he's the $2 Tuesday handicapper, first ever MLB 5% side bet. Teddy, speaking of 5% plays, I got one going tonight. I almost never have one in baseball. This is only my second 5% play of the season. I lost my first one. I almost broke my television set. I was up by 2. going into the bottom of the ninth. And it was one of those weeks where I lost 3 or 4 games in the bottom of the ninth. Anyway, guys, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. Teddy's Big Game Breakdown, Ronald, Cabang, Dave Sharapan, and so much more. Stay with us.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and Sportsmemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers' best bet or daily package for only $2.
It is time for today's big game breakdown. Let's talk a little MLB for Tuesday night and look at the Orioles and the Rays. Right now, look at the Wager Talk live odds screen. Let's call Tampa minus 190, total sitting at 7.5. There has been some Orioles money. There has been a little bit of under money so far today. Now, Baltimore continues to be the single most profitable team in MLB. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Rays before the break. They lost 2 out of 3 to the Yankees coming out of the break, and then notched another victory yesterday. So it's not a team that's going on losing streaks right now. They're back to 500, looking to go above 500 with a victory this evening. Tampa, from a mental state, they came out of the break. They lost 2 out of 3 to Kansas City and lose again yesterday. This is a Rays team that's still 9 games over 500, but I'm telling you, they're a team I'm looking to fade far more than looking to back right now. They're not hitting the baseball consistently. There's been cracks in the relief pitching. And I think Tampa is something of an overvalued commodity. Now, the spot probably favors Tampa. Certainly a team, that has now lost 3 in a row. This is supposed to be their bounce back, and they have their ace on the hill in McClanahan. But Shane McClanahan, all-star starter, he got lit up in that game. All right. He leads the majors in ERA and WHIP. He's 4th in strikeouts. He's allowed 2 earned runs or less in each of his last 13 starts. We're talking about a guy who the markets are very, very hot for, hence the price in this ballgame with Baltimore's big dogs at home. But the Orioles are playing better baseball right now. McClanahan in June, he went 5-0. The Rays went 5-0 when it starts. His other 14, they're 8-6. Roughed up in the All-Star game, not in any kind of rhythm right now. Yeah, this isn't a guy I want to lay this price with. Not even maybe. Baltimore, live dogs again today. The Orioles, plus 170. You find better if you shop around. I think they're live, just like they were last night. There's your big game breakdown, Prez. Back to you, my friend.
Teddy covers. I got to respond to a really interesting question by Boris B in the chat. Boris writes, he's got a question. I'm about to buy all 5% plays from all the cappers that have one up today. I'm worried about the fact that some 5% plays might be on the exact same play. Is there some sort of guarantee that 5% plays on the same day cannot be the same with different handicappers? Okay, a lot to unpack there. Firstly, all the handicappers are independent consultants. Yes, they're all locked into exclusive contracts with Wager Talk, but they all do their own work. They do not speak. There's no meeting ahead of time. Every one of them is entitled to put out any play that they are betting. So, yes, they could be on the same play. Yes, they could even maybe be against each other. That doesn't happen that often, but it does happen. But one thing I can assure you, Boris, our customer service is world freaking class. There is a reason we have literally taken over this entire industry in 6 short years, and that is the Detroit Customer Service Office. Boris, go buy what you need to buy. If you see something you don't like, just email customer service. You will be so well taken care of. It'll not be an issue whatsoever. Teddy, anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, that's the key. Is that if there are any issues, contact customer service. when we say we have the best guys in the business, we mean it.
It's not even close.
They will, if you have any issues whatsoever, they'll take care of you. Our goal is happy and satisfied clients, not let's make as much money as we can real quick and disappear.
Right. Exactly. And it's why it's really why we've just killed it, man. And our trajectory is unbelievable. Ronald Cabang joining us, everyone. Ron, how are you, bro?
Good. How about you guys?
Good. So you coming down to the meet and greet?
No, I'm not gonna be able to make it, so I won't be able to get to the 3-point contest like I originally planned. But I know you guys are gonna have a blast without me.
We'll miss you.
Well, listen, I don't know if you know this, because in case you change your mind, Dave Sharapan will be on next. He's going to be handling all babysitting services for the 3 days that we're there. So if you do need to come down with your kids, you literally just drop them at Dave's place. He's totally got them.
Yeah.
Okay, my brother. So every Tuesday we have a promotion going on over at Sportsmemo. 3 handicappers for only $5. 3 handicappers for $5. JM Sports, Matt Joseph, and King Creel are the handicappers. Ronald, we love having you over at Sportsmemo, dude. You've become a hell of a good handicapper. Way to go, man.
Appreciate it. Yeah, appreciate it. I'm just trying to get to the level of WagerTalk at some point. Man, you guys are very professional, and I love the fact that you guys are able to do this type of show and provide information that you guys do.
Well, thanks, dude. Let's get into it. Houston Astros, Garcia against Oakland, Montez. Really low total, 6.5 in some areas. How you betting this game?
Yeah, real quick, before I get into that play, you asked about how many times in a single day 4 or 5 150 plus dogs won in a single day. Uncle Ralph will be happy with my research today. 4 days this season, 150 plus dogs won in a single day. So that's that stat right there. But as far as this game goes, the Astros, they're coming off an embarrassing loss, 5-7 loss last night to the A's. They were at least minus 200 faves at most, if not all the books. When the Astros lose outright as faves of at least minus 200 in their previous game, they're actually 7-1 and straight up and 6-2 on the run line when playing the same team the next game. And that includes 2 games against the A's, actually. So in July, Astros won that game 6-1. In July, that was July 10th, and July 16th, they won that game 5-0. Luis Garcia, he isn't the strongest pitcher the Astros can have on the mound for this spot, but we are fading the A's with Frankie Montas on the mound at home. The A's are 2-10 straight up when Montas starts at home. A's are averaging 2.1 runs in those games, and opponents are averaging 3.7 runs per game. If you include that the opponent has a win percentage of 45% or more, they're 0-5 straight up and 0-5 on the run line in those spots, averaging 1 run per game in those spots, while allowing 3.8 in that small 5-game sample size. A's are also 0-4 straight up and on the run line when Montas starts at home, and the A's are coming off an outright win. So a lot of things right now are pointing towards fading the A's here with a pretty large gap to end the game. I know the A's are the worst hitting team in the league in their home field, batting just a shade over 210 and scoring the least amount of runs per game. And after coming off of a 7-run game, you could kind of see maybe they come back down to earth a little bit. So I do think we see a solid bounce back spot here for the Astros, and the A's bats come back down to earth a bit. I would take the Astros on the run line at plus 105 here.
So the A's have now scored 5 or more 4 times in their last 5 games since the break. So they're starting to hit. You make an argument they're playing the best ball of the season right now, winning 4 of those 5 games this past week. And certainly Montas is, he's their best pitcher, as good as anyone. I know they haven't won for him consistently, but it's not like Montas is the guy, I can't trust him, I can't back him. So Oakland's playing their best ball. Mm-hmm. They've got an ace on the hill. And the other thing is that when you look at the recent meetings between these two teams here in July, they cashed at plus 180 last night. They cashed at plus 240 last week. They cashed at plus 175. They cashed at plus 240. That's just in the last 7 meetings. They cashed 4 times at plus 175 or better. Is the price right to back Houston tonight?
I mean, I think if you're looking at the Astros at the run line plus money, I think that is usually a decent price, especially when you go against a team that, on the full season has struggled against righties, especially specifically at home. I know they've been doing a lot better recently, like you mentioned, but I don't think they're going to continue to do that in this type of fashion. If we look at the 2 games that I mentioned earlier between the Astros and the A's, coming off of outright wins for the A's, the A's actually got blanked once and only put up 1 run the following game. I think there's this. I mean, just like how we look at the NBA, there's opportunities for bounce back up and also letdown spots. And to me, this is sort of a letdown spot here with a big win as huge underdogs the previous day. They got to take the W's when they can, but at the next day, maybe they come back down to earth, and that's what I'm banking on here.
Ronald, Cabang, let's go to some WNBA, brother. The Sky versus the Aces. Where are you going here?
Yeah, we had the Commissioner's Cup tonight. The Sky are hosting the Aces. They're favored by, well, when I first originally saw it last night, they were favored by 2. I think it's at -3 right now, and the total I think is currently set around 170 or so. Today, in this Commissioner's Cup, we're going to have 2 highly motivated squads here because they're going to be playing for a prize pool of $500,000 and at least $165,000 in charitable donations. So this Commissioner's Cup brings a different, perspective to the WNBA game here. Looking at the Aces first, they're rarely dogs this season. In fact, they've only been a dog once so far this season. This was against the Storm on the road. They were just 1-point underdogs, and they lost that game by 10, 78-88. Aces offense is a big reason why this team is 20-8 this season, but their defense is why they've been struggling as of late, especially when it comes to covering the spread. They're just 5-13 against the spread since covering 8 of their first 10 games this season. In their last 15 games of the season, they're number 1 in the league in offensive rating, but 11th in defensive rating. I wanted to look at how they did in those 8 outright losses. 7 of their 8 losses were by 7 or more points. The 1 loss was by exactly 1 point to the Mystics. In that game, Natasha Cloud missed her free throw with 3 seconds left in OT. That could have put them up by 5. And then Asia Wilson hit a useless 3 at the buzzer to cut it down to a 1-point loss. But with that said, I bring that up because the Aces, I bring up how the Aces do in losses because the Sky, they don't lose at home often, especially when they're favored. They've won 11 straight games as home favorites, and every game was won by 3 or more points. The Sky coming off an outright loss as well this season, 6-0 straight up, 4-1-1 against the spread. This includes a game where they beat the Aces already, 104-95. I mean, this is arguably the top 2 teams in the league. When we look at how these teams do against each other, against other top-tier teams, the Sky have the advantage. They're 8-2 straight up, 9-1 against the spread against teams with a winning record, compared to the Aces, who are 7-5 straight up and 6-6 against the spread, including 2-4 straight up and 1-5 against the spread in their last 6 instances, facing teams with a winning record. The Sky should get Courtney Vandersloot tonight too, and she's been missing for 4 games, so that's going to be a big plus for the Sky side. So to me, all signs are pointing to the Sky winning this one and covering the short line.
Awesome stuff, Ronald Cabang. Ron, what do you got to promote for our clients over at Sportsmemo?
I believe I'm going to have 2 premium MLB plays today, and that Aces play there is going to be a premium play as well. So that one I'm pretty much giving out for free here on the premiere of WagerTalk Today, Season 3.
Excellent stuff. Ronald Cabang, everyone. Teddy, let's bring him in. Dave, the babysitter, Sharapan. How are you, my friend?
I have no idea what you're talking about. I don't want any drama. I ain't watching anybody's kids when all you people come to Vegas. It's not happening. What is this story about a 3-point shootout? What, are you guys shooting basketballs? What is going on?
Okay, so we're having a meet and greet. the reason we haven't told you in full detail about it is because you're babysitting all the kids we're bringing down. We have a golf tournament on Saturday and a
Golf?
3-point
Did you
contest
say
on
golf?
Saturday.
What the hell is golf?
You don't want drama? While you mock my accent?
I'm not mocking anything. You said golf. It's golf. You're playing golf. You're shooting basketballs, and I'm watching the kids. What kind of deal is this? I'm charging $500 an hour, just so you know. That's unbelievable. Is Ranieri behind this?
Speaking of Ranieri, actually, Dave, before we bring you in, one of our listeners wants to know if there are going to be weekend shows this coming football season, Joe.
Whoa.
Well,
Wow.
the answer is yes. I mean, it was a good answer. Nice, short, concise, doesn't give anything away, but it's a yes. Teddy, get some info out of Dave while I book my trip to Vegas.
Teddy, before we
Please.
start, what color is that jacket you're wearing? It's gorgeous. It's unbelievable. What color is that jacket?
Salmon, maybe? Yeah, I'll call it salmon.
Yeah.
All right. It
But
works.
Dave,
I can tell you
Dave.
that right now.
Dave, I did
Thank
start
you.
with Teddy about the jacket at the top of the show, just to let you know. You see how right by like here, it's bunching up?
You got to pull that down. That's an old TV trick. You got to pull that
Right.
back.
You got to pull it
Yeah,
down
you're
and then
supposed
you
to
sit on
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
You got, you got to keep
sit-
it tight.
you
gotta
sit on
keep
it.
those shoulders.
I feel like
Oh,
I'm
I'm
70
sitting right on it, Teddy.
God, I miss the two of you together. Man, oh man, it seems like it's been all summer. Haven't seen the two of you together for the drama on Flex Tuesday. Theodore, what's up?
Okay, Teddy,
God.
come on. Get some info
Yeah,
out
you
of
asked
him.
me to. Well, thank you so much, Lawrence. And then you asked me to ask him info, and then you yip. You know, he's like, get some info out of him. But by the way,
I'm a bad
yeah,
dude.
he's a bad man. Dave Sharapan. So today's episode 1 of season 3 of Wager Talk Today. And the reason it's season 3 is because football season starts today in my world.
Yes,
You know, when you come back,
Yes,
you know, as you get to the end of July. So we've talked a lot about baseball on the show already. We talked a lot about WNBA. Let's talk a little football. I'm anticipating our audience has some interest in that sport. Where do you want to go
Just a
first,
little.
college or NFL?
Wherever you lead me, Teddy, I'm riding passenger. You're driving. Let's go.
Okay, so let's start with the NFL. And when it comes to the preseason, there's been one huge mover. Everyone's betting the Ravens. Everyone knows what John Harbaugh's track record is
Yes.
for Baltimore in the preseason. And that's been the one game where the line move has really stood out to me in August. Do you think we'll see more Ravens money? If you like Baltimore, do you bet them now still at -4? Is that going to go higher? Or is this one of these scenarios where if you like Baltimore, well, tough luck, you missed the number?
No, I don't think you missed the number. I mean, you got Ralph putting out the Wager Talk guide with the preseason and talking about the Ravens and everyone else talking about the Ravens. Listen, booking the preseason for the books, it's not a fun experience because you get so much one-sided action. It's almost like booking the draft. It's really, and it's a lot of it's a sharp market. So yes, you see the early move. You probably, a lot of people will not follow it because they missed the number, and that's fine. But I don't want the other side of the Ravens in the preseason. You don't need to be a Mensa member to know that it's not a good bet to bet against the Ravens. So, yeah, I mean, it is officially the start of training camp. I'm wearing the Pirate stuff, the throwback Pirate stuff. But in Pittsburgh, everybody wears black and gold today because the Steelers are reporting to training camp. And we're diving into it. I mean, but for those of us that have been in the business, we've probably been diving into it for a month already, doing the work after the vacations. So, yes, to answer your question, I think you can probably still bet it. But, I mean, you have to know going in, you may have missed the number. The game could fall 3, and all the originators will have won, and you will have lost.
Yeah, and that's really the only significant line move for week 1 of the NFL preseason so far. As the info starts to come out, usually the week of the game, those lines will shoot all around. And as you mentioned, you're likely to see largely one-way action. When you wear your Pirate stuff, by the way, do it on a day, not the day after they cost me. Do it after they win, not when they blow a game in Chicago they should have won last night. That cost me from a perfect night. Thank you very much.
They had that was a bad loss. I didn't know you had them, Teddy. I definitely don't want any drama with you. I mean, we got enough drama with Prez. I don't want any drama with you, please. But listen, the dogs were barking yesterday. Cabang just said it. I mean, all those dogs paid off. I don't know who hit a parlay yesterday. I was out and about this weekend in Vegas, and I ran into a couple people that, said, hey, they love watching the show on Wager Talk, and, what are you looking at today? And I was just like, man, listen, betting baseball right now is a little bit tough. It's getting to the week before the trade deadline is really hard because a lot of guys they may be on their way out. There's going to be a lot of movement. So you'll see movement in futures. Betting daily baseball right now, it can be a minefield.
Sure. And Ronald Cabang was on earlier, talked about his database research that showed that there were 4 times this year that I think it was 4 dogs of plus 150 or higher had cash. But the thing that was unique about last night was that every dog of plus 150 or higher won the game. Wasn't that how many of them? It was the fact that all 5 of them were all 5 plus 150 dogs won on the same night. And that, it's not just how many, but the fact that all 5 of them won, that's fairly unique. And that's something that's not going to be easy to
a parlay with those, Teddy. $10 parlay paid $1,800.69. I'll leave the joke for Prez on the change.
Let's talk a little bit more NFL before we move on to some college football. When it comes to the hot teams or the cold teams,
yes,
clearly, Dave, you're a guy that you're around town as much as anybody. Who are the buzzy teams for the NFL right now? Who do people seem to like? What teams do you think are going to get a lot of wise guy support? And on the other end of the spectrum, are there any teams that you're seeing? Everyone you talk to, like, man, I hate this team. I hate this team. I hate this team. What's the early buzz here in Vegas?
The buzz with a lot of guys, that I like to say are in the know, is Atlanta. I don't understand it, but Atlanta seems like they're going to be a play like over, or they're going to be a bet on with everything going on there. Low season win total. It's a bad football team that I don't think a lot of people are paying any attention to, but that's one that I think is going to be, has already gotten some sneaky support. Detroit, obviously, and again, I'm not pandering to Johnny Detroit. We've talked about this before, but man, seems like they can make the playoffs the way you're listening to. The regression team is the Bengals. The Bengals is clearly like the team that everybody in that division seems like it's going against. And the Ravens are the team they're going on, not just in the preseason. So it's a big push for that. I still can't figure out Denver. A lot of people like the Denver Broncos and Russell Wilson going there. I still see a first-time coach in a pretty difficult schedule, but apparently I'm in the minority with that one. So those are the teams right now that are still. And again, this is all you're going to see a lot of movement in the next week to 2 weeks when we get to that first preseason game. That's when a lot of guys start picking off numbers and stuff. So we'll all pay attention to that, and we'll have all the answers by the time we all get together for the Wager Talk thing. I'm not babysitting anybody's kids. I'm not doing it.
We've got extended time today, of course, with Dave Sharapan at SportsBKConsig on Twitter, Sportsbook Consigliere at SportsBKConsig. He's an excellent follow on Twitter. He's an all-around good guy, and he graces us with his presence here on Wager Talk Today every Tuesday, or most Tuesdays, throughout the course of the year. One last question for you before we let you go, Dave, and I want to just touch on college football. And we're basically week one. What are you seeing in terms of the week one line movers? Who do the wise guys like? Who do they hate? Similar question to what we just asked about the NFL. Give me some buzzy teams that are taking week one money, teams that the people you're talking to seem to like or dislike.
To be perfectly honest, Teddy, I haven't heard much of anything yet for week 0. Okay. But it's been pretty much, decided that Alabama's just going to play Georgia again in the final. I mean, I cannot believe the pricing on these futures. It's a done deal. So I haven't even begun because I'm so immersed deeply into baseball. I was at the All-Star game in LA last week and did some work for MLB Network and got around. So I didn't dive too much into it. I haven't done the work yet to even give you an informed opinion at all about week 0 of college football.
Dave Sharapan, dude, outstanding stuff. Always better for me to just kick back and listen to you and Teddy. I don't want to get in the way, you know.
Can you flex on the way out? Can you give me something on the way out? I mean, just lean back. That's all.
You know,
You can
I
lean
haven't
back.
worked out. I haven't worked
What?
out in frickin' ages, dude. I can't do it in
Why?
the summer, man. All I want to
What?
do is golf. Dave, are you coming to hang out with us on the meet and greet?
I ain't babysitting no kids. I'll tell you that right now. I got 3 kids of my own, and we got a new puppy in the house. I got a puppy life going on. A puppy's been in this house for 6 days. Never sleeps. It's crying all the time. Yes.
Why didn't you?
And any excuse to get out of the house. And you're in town, as long as you call me, Prez. If you don't call me this time, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be upset.
What kind of dog?
A mini golden doodle. It's absolutely adorable. My goodness.
And the
it's
name?
unbelievable. It was a big debate in the house. We went with Charlie J. I'm just excited because now I can still say LL Cool J. Ladies love Charlie Joy. That's what we're going with.
Charlie Joy?
Yeah, the 8-year-old wanted to name her Joy because that's her favorite character in Inside Out, and the dog will bring joy to the house. The curmudgeon teenagers overruled her on that, said we're not doing it. So we settled on Charlie Joy. The old Uncle Charlie for the baseball reference. There you go.
There you go. Dave Sharapan, everyone. Guys, we're pretty much done. Listen, the daily presidential address will make a return. We're in the middle of summer. We can't get to 100 likes on a regular basis. But we're almost there. We're almost there. Season 3, show 1 in the bag. Make sure to grab my 5% baseball play tonight. It's only my second one of the year. Teddy, my brother, I'm going golfing, and then I'm playing hockey. Take us home.
Sure. I want to thank Ronald, Cabang, Steve Merril, and Dave Sharapan for joining us. I want to thank all of you out there in viewer and listener land for taking time out of your busy day to spend with us here on WagerTalk Today. We'll do it again tomorrow. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and then, you know what to do. Enjoy the games, and good luck.
Tuesdays is known as $2 Tuesdays at WagerTalk.com and Sportsmemo.com, where you can get the hottest handicappers, best bet, or daily package for only $2.